Discover the transformative power of Zen and the art of NLP. A lot more success with a lot less stress on Transformation Talk Radio. Every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, Dr. Steve Simpson combines the principles of Zen philosophy with the techniques of neuro-linguistic programming to help you achieve your goals with ease and tranquility. Whether you're seeking personal growth, professional development, or improved relationships, this show offers practical strategies and insights to navigate life's challenges with a calm and focused mindset. Get ready to embrace a new level of success and serenity. Zen and the art of NLP starts now.
Hello everyone, it certainly does start now, today, right now, because one of the greatest gifts we have is probably the one that you've hidden somewhere. It's your confidence. I'm Dr. Steve Simpson, and you are listening to Zen and the Art of NLP on Transformation Talk Radio. Our headline topic today is the power of confidence. Do you know what tennis player Maria Sharapova thought about confidence? She said, when you look good, you feel good. We're going to be talking about that because she's right on the money with that one. Do you know what critic Robert Hughes thought about confidence? The greater the artist, the greater the doubt. Maybe. Maybe that's why the Rolling Stones are still nervous before they go out to start their gig after all these years. Do you know what Charles Darwin thought about confidence? Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. And the source of these three inspirational quotes is brainyquote.com, which is a great site. Stay with us for the next 30 minutes and let us help you experience that sweet spot of mind, body, and soul to embrace a new level of success and serenity, helping you achieve a lot more success with a lot less stress. Because today you are going to learn how to turbocharge your confidence and manifest greater health, wealth, and happiness. Please post your questions and comments, and I'll do my best to answer them in the final part of the show. Or you can call in live to our live call-in number 1-800-930-2819. Now, if you're feeling frustrated because you don't seem to achieve what you deserve from life when others do, the chances are that you've forgotten where your confidence is hiding. Step one to fix this is to understand that confidence is your default state of mind. Step two is to understand how and why your brain hid your confidence from the light. And step three, which I guess is the most important, is to reconnect your confidence to the light. And trust me, this is a lot easier than it might sound. So where is your confidence hiding? As I mentioned, step one to fix this is to understand that confidence is your default state of mind. Now let's think about babies, newly born babies. According to the scientists, I don't know how they come to these conclusions, they say that babies only fear two things: falling from a height, understandable, and loud noises, understandable. So what do we do with babies? We lift them up in the air, and in the old days, they used to smack their bottom to make them cry. Welcome to planet Earth. Your inner child, we all have our inner child, and in fact, the more we can connect to that, the better. But the inner child didn't suffer with confidence issues, assuming it wasn't badly treated as a baby, like I just mentioned, because when you watch young children playing, they're totally absorbed in what they're doing. If they're old enough to be playing, a ball game or something, they're running around, having fun, not aware of anybody else who's watching them. They're always the star. They call them, say, take on this alter ego of whoever their role model is. And so that's I think maybe that's evidence that this is our default state. In fact, so many clients will say to me, if only I could go back to how I was as a child. And they might be professional golfers on the tour because that's when they enjoyed things. That's when they didn't worry about stuff. And finally, have some trust in the millions of years of evolution that has made all of us such fantastic art of human engineering and physiology and balance. And if you're, not totally convinced by evolution, then this is what some people will call it's the hand of God. Now, God does not make people who are flawed, because we aren't flawed. We're all perfect. Well, there is obviously a few exceptions, but basically what's inside us is perfect. Step 2 is to understand how and why your brain hid your confidence from the light. Well, this is where things get a bit more serious. This happens because your brain hid it because of an attempted robbery or heist. So we've got to look for the usual suspects. We know a lot of them already. Friends and family trying to do all this for our best. Have to tell you this, but. Peer pressure. There's a great group mentality, amongst particularly kids, but it's just the same in adults, really, all wanting to belong to a group or a tribe. And they don't like people who are a little bit different. They want everybody to be like they are. Not always the best approach. Then there's authority figures who tell us in a very stern voice, I'm telling you this for your own good. And they include lots of people. So if you're in one of these groups, don't worry about it. It's not personal. And of course, not everybody's in one of these groups. Teachers, coaches, religious leaders, politicians, lawyers. And as I say, the list goes on and on. All the people who felt they had to interfere with our physiology and our neurology. But we can't always blame other people, because the biggest thieves are social media. Well, they're certainly maybe not the biggest, but the social media is there, and we usually willingly partake of that. And as soon as we sign up for social media, we're subjecting ourselves to scrutiny from the world. And when you post anything, you can guess very roughly 50% of people are going to like what you've said or like what you've written, and 50% of people aren't. And because a lot of these people don't even know who you are, they've never met you, they feel that they've got license to say exactly what they like. And the things that they write sometimes are absolutely disgraceful. And I'm not sure that Meta and all the other companies are able to contain these comments. I know they try, but there's always ways for these people to slip underneath the radar. And if people start taking these comments seriously, well, that's their confidence has been stolen. And there's a lot of concern amongst society and among the teachers about the kids, because the kids are being exposed to this kind of thing at a much younger age than they never would have been before, and to a greater number of people. Again, life events, yes, they do get in the way, and it's what some people call the 3 Ds. All of us, or most people, have a fear of death, which is natural. Nobody likes being in debt. And when the economies of the world are a bit shaky, as they are right now, there's a lot of debt because everybody knows prices are rising, salaries are not necessarily keeping up with them, and some people are struggling to keep a job because some companies are laying off staff. So that can't be minimized. And these can certainly, hopefully only for the short term, make you hide your confidence. And divorce is the other one. Or it doesn't have to be a partner in marriage, but being separated from our own kind is about the greatest thing that anybody can, the greatest negative thing that anybody can do, because we've evolved as social animals. And just like, when horses want to punish somebody who's been misbehaving in their tribe, they turn their back on them. Literally, the horses will look away. And that's a pretty bad feeling for the poor old horse who has to trot off on his own for a little bit. Hopefully his friends will forgive him sooner or later. But after that long list, the biggest and the most powerful thief is your own ego. It's yourself, or it's that small part of yourself that we call the conscious mind or the ego. This often has a voice in our head. It's the first one to tell us that we shouldn't be doing this. We're taking a big risk. We should just stick to what we know we've done in the past. Much safer that way. No good ever comes. No good ever comes from venturing into strange new paths, even if you really want to. It'll tell you that you're pretty useless. It'll tell you all the things that have gone wrong in the past, because ego likes to be in charge. And if you start making your own decisions, then ego doesn't like it very much. And the final step is step 3, and that is to reconnect your confidence to the light. And as I said, arguably, this is the most important. Understanding where your confidence is temporarily hiding is definitely important, but we're all going to be in situations that I've just mentioned. They're not unique to anybody. Hopefully we won't have all of those things, but we're certainly going to have some of them. So step 3, reconnect your confidence to the light. Now that's going to take me a little bit of time to explain, and we're coming up to our break now. And just to remind you, you are listening to Zen and the Art of NLP with Dr. Steve Simpson. That's me. We're going to take a very quick break. Before we do so, I would invite you to take a moment to think about these 3 questions. What is the one thing that you desire the most? What is the one thing that is stopping you from achieving it? You've probably heard these questions before. You might not have heard this 3rd one, and I sometimes think this might be the most important. What is the one thing that you want to share with others? What is the one thing you want to share with others? When we return, I will share the step 3 secret of reconnecting more closely to your confidence, helping you achieve a lot more success with a lot less stress. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we are right back. Welcome. Now, the best way to connect with me, and I hope you do, is to check out my website, drstevensimpson.com. Sign up for my free weekly newsletter and discover plenty of other free stuff as well to explore, and some great books, hypnotic audio books, and coaching programs to purchase. I recommend, with confidence, you'd expect me to say that, the online course, Zen and the Art of Being Smart. This personality development masterclass is presented as 6 individual audiobook files with written notes. These are the topics that my elite clients have found most helpful over the years. They're posting some pretty massive results, so something is working for them. As we mentioned before the break, it's time now to get on to step 3, to reconnect your confidence to the light. And I got a number of suggestions here. You don't need to take any notes, but you might need to go back to this recording and just make sure you've got them all. Remember what Maria Sharapova said? You've got to, if you look good, you're going to feel good. So never underestimate the power of posture. And remember that a lot of our communication is non-verbal, so it's body language. It's body language. Now the models know this. They have to walk the catwalk, and some of them don't like it. They find it a bit intimidating, and I think we can all understand why. But that's what they get paid to do. And and of course, they're just like us. They don't know whether they're good enough. They don't know whether they look good enough. I mean, that's the problem of being a model. Everybody's studying, how they're presenting themselves and the clothes they're wearing, which might be clothes they didn't choose themselves. So they say, you've got to fake it until you make it. Now, how does this work? Well, it's really our own physiology, because imagine you've got an email. You're just about to finish work, and it's from the boss, the big bad boss. Be in my office at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We need to have a serious discussion. Now, you're probably going to worry about this all night, and you're going to be dreading it. What is the boss going to say? He's a difficult person at the best of times. So the day comes, it's just before 8 o'clock, and you're sat outside waiting. Now, if there was a camera on you, how would you look? The chances are you would have your arms tucked up, your head down, your eyes would be down. You think nobody's going to see me. Legs together, ankles together, and maybe you're sweating a little bit. And if we wired you up, we'd notice that your heart's beating fast and you're breathing fast and shallow breaths. So there's not much oxygen getting down there. Now, how about If you recognize yourself doing this and you do something about it, you sit up straight, just like Granny told you. You start to breathe. You breathe deeper than you normally would, and you're able to because you've opened up your rib cage here, and the air can get right down to the lower bits of your lungs. You breathe a little bit slower than you normally would, and a little bit deeper than you normally would. Now, we've been breathing all of our lives, but nobody gave us a book to explain how. That's why so many ancient practices are all about the breath, the breathing. Now, what about the language that we use each other? The language that we use with each other. The language, that we use to ourselves. The things that come out of our mind about ourselves, and the things that are going on in our head about ourselves. This is what we call the internal dialogue. So how about adopting this as a mantra and say it to yourself a few times every day for 28 days. If you can do something for 28 days, chances are you'll do it for the rest of your life. Now, this can be, even if this is the only thing you remember from today, it will really make a difference. And it is this. In your own words, of course, if you prefer, I will never, ever say bad things about myself ever again. Maybe that's not very grammatical, but we don't believe in grammar anyway, do we? Boring at school, even more boring now. I will never, ever say bad things about myself ever again. And a bit of a plug here, but I make it almost without an apology because I just know how many thousands of people this has helped. Try listening to my #1 best-selling audiobook, Zen Hypnosis Confidence. This was the first audiobook I ever made, and it topped the iTunes charts in all categories, not just personal development, for month after month shortly after its release. Now, these figures are from Europe, but I know that it was pretty popular in other parts of the world as well. And the reason why things like this work is because they're messages to the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind doesn't want to feel anxious, doesn't want to feel nervous, doesn't want to feel drained of confidence. It wants to go back to the default state of how it was as a child. This is a trick we call think of a time when. So you can follow me now with this one. Think of a time when you were confident. Think of a time when you were confident and bring back this memory, because what we generally speak in terms of videos in our mind, bring back these pictures and these videos of this time. Where were you? What was the weather like? Were you indoors or outdoors? Did you have people with you? What was the light like? Was it bright? Was it dull? Was it dark? Who was with you? What clothes were you wearing? And every video has a soundtrack. What noises can you hear? People talking, maybe. They might even be saying nice things about you. They might even be applauding you. You might hear champagne bottles going off. Who knows? But there will be noises. The more detail you can attach to this video of that time when you were confident, the easier it will be to bring that feeling back. Because when you're sitting outside the boss's office at 3 minutes to 8, you can spend 3 minutes thinking about that and not thinking about the boss calling you in and not thinking about the surprise you're going to get when he said, oh, by the way, today, guess what? Tell me, we've got a pay rise for you. Ha, 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 ha. No sleep last night. This is one that we might have mentioned in the previous program. Really important. Let go of ego. Let go of ego. I think that's what that Robert Hughes person was talking about. The greater the talent, the greater the potential loss of confidence. Let go of ego, because it's ego that, again, will stop us doing new things. It is very destructive. It is ego that when we've written 50,000 words for a book, we can't press that red button to submit it to Amazon or whoever to get it published because we don't think it's good enough. It's that piece of music we compose that we don't think is good enough to go out to anybody else. It's that fantastic work of art. It's even the way we've designed our garden. Think, oh no, I can't have the neighbors looking at it like this. Let me put it back to the way that it was. Another little tool you can use is to think of somebody. It might be a public figure, it might be a friend of yours, Might just be somebody you've heard of. Somebody that you think would be a very confident person. Play this video of them in your mind, using the same videos as you did before. But study this video with forensic intensity. How does this person walk? How do they hold their head? What's their body language in general like? How do they speak? What kind of things do they talk about? What about the face? What kinds of gestures do they have? Are they smiling? Are they looking serious? Who knows? It's your video. But when you're brave, just take your imagination a step further and step into that movie. Step into that movie with this person who's got something to teach you. And then you can try looking at the world through her eyes or his eyes. What does this world look like? You'll get a little bit of insights when you come back, even if you just remember one or two things. We're all great at copying from others. That's how we learn stuff. In NLP, we call this role modeling. We can't just say we're going to copy other people, but it's identifying excellence in other people and seeing if we can just snatch a little bit and use it ourselves. Okay, we've just got time for maybe a couple of questions from the listeners. Patsy from Texas wants to know, can confidence be experienced by everybody or only those who are spiritually enlightened? That's a pretty good question. My view for what it's worth is that it can be experienced by everybody because it's part of us. It's part of our hardwiring. It's part of our soft wiring. Do people who are spiritually enlightened have a bit of an edge? Yeah, they do. I guess they could, because we've talked about mind, body, and soul, and that sweet spot that combines them all together, which is, the zone or where peak performance lives. So if you're really looking after your mind, you're really looking after your body, but you're not letting any spiritual thoughts in, then it's going to take a little bit off. But I mean, don't worry about that. We're going to have a whole program at some point, I think, and talking about mind, body, and soul. And it doesn't need to be very complicated, and it won't be. Sarah from Minnesota wants to know, how do I know whether to trust my confidence? Yeah, that's a good consideration, because people can be overconfident. I had somebody once who wanted me to give him confidence to go black ski runs, and then I asked him a few questions. Apparently he'd broken his legs 3 times doing black runs. So I had to have a conversation. I said, I'm not, I think maybe you need to find another answer that doesn't involve black runs. We're moving towards the end rapidly now. And now it's my favorite time. It's time for the Zen and the Art of NLP. It's the top tip of the week. We have one every week. And if you only take one thing away from this show, this is it. I will never, ever say bad things about myself ever again. No more self-deprecatory comments. I will never, ever say bad things about myself ever again. Don't worry, you can trust the rest of the world to do this for you and keep you grounded. This is the easy way to a lot more success with a lot less stress. Thanks for joining us today, and we've got a great program lined up for you at the same date, at the same time, and at the same place next week. Be there and invite all your friends and family and everybody else too, even the people you don't like. Who knows, you might even get to like them, or they might get to like you. Let's all raise the vibration of our world to a higher frequency, and it certainly needs it. And finally, don't forget to check out my website, drstephensimpson.com, and sign up for my free weekly newsletter and discover plenty of other great stuff. So, goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you next week.
You have been listening to the Zen and Art of NLP. A lot more success with a lot less stress. Tune in every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we dive into the depths of your unconscious mind and awaken your intuition, unlocking hidden talents and supercharging your personal and professional relationships. Continue embarking on a stress-free journey towards unparalleled success by subscribing subscribing to future episodes, and stay updated on the latest content. Easily share these captivating shows with your loved ones and create meaningful connections. Book a personal session with Dr. Steve Simpson to delve deeper into the topics that resonate with you. You can visit his website at drstevensimpson.com.